Good day, everyone. My report is all about the single-variate logistic regression. What is a single-variate logistic regression? It is the most straightforward case of logistic regression. There is only one independent variable, which is x is equal to x. This figure illustrates single-variate logistic regressions. Ang single-variate logistic regression ay ang pinakasimpleng kaso ng logistic regression na kung saan mayroon lamang itong isang independent variable which is x is equal to x. Ang figure na ito ay naglalarawan ng sulong variable logistic regressions at ito nga ang x is equal to x. Here are the graph of single-variate logistic regressions. Next. Here, you have a given set of input, output, close open parentheses, or x and y, close parentheses, pairs represented by green circles. These are your observations. Remember that y can only be 0 or 1. For example, the leftmost green circle has the input x is equal to 0. And the actual output y is equal to 0. The rightmost observation has x is equal to 9 and y is equal to 1. For example, the input and output, which is x and y pairs, which is represented by green circles. At lagi tandaan na ang y ay maaari lamang maging 0 or 1. Halimbawa, ang pinakakaliwang berdeng bilog ay may input na x is equal to 0 at ang actual na output ay y is equal to 0. Ang pinakakaliwang observation ay may x is equal to 9 at y is equal to 0. Next. The logistic regression finds the weights B0 and B1 that correspond to the maximum LLF. These weights define the logit fx is equal to B0 plus B1 and x, which is the dashed black line. They also define the predicted probability px is equal to 1 dash open parentheses 1 plus exp and open parentheses negative f and open parentheses and x and close parentheses, shown here as the full black line. In this case, the threshold px is equal to 0.5 and fx is equal to 0. Corresponds to the value of x slightly higher than 3. This value is the limit between the inputs with the predicted outputs of 0 and 1. Ang logistic regressions ay tumutukoy ng mga timbang na ito ang logit fx is equal to b1 plus b1 plus x. Halimbawa, mga halimbawa ng logistic regressions. Next. The next one is multivariate logistic regressions. Has more than one input variable. This figure shows the classification with two independent variables x1 and x2. Ang multivariate logistic regressions, i-compare natin dun sa isa sa single-variate logistic regressions, which is the single-variate logistic regression, which is one variable, then multivariate, which is two independent variables. Ang multivariate logistic regressions ay may higit sa isang input variables at ang figure na ito ay nagpapakita na ng klasifikasyon na may dalawang independent variable which is x and y. Here are the graph of multivariate logistic regressions. Proceed to the next one. The graph is different from the single-variate graph because both axes represents the inputs. The outputs also differ in color. The white circles show the observations classified as zeros, while the green circles are those classified as ones. Ang graph na nagpapakita ng multivariate logistic regressions ay hindi katulad sa single-variate logistic graph, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, dahil ang parehong mga axes ay kumakatawan sa mga input. Ang mga output ay naiiba din sa kulay. Ang mga puting bilog ay nagpapakita ng obserbasyon na hindi bilang ang mga zero, habang ang berdeng kulay naman na mga bilog ay ang mga mauuri bilang isa. Next. Logistic regression determines the weights BO, B1, and B2 that maximize the LLF. Once you have B0, B1, and B2, you can get the logit if open parenthesis x1 and x2 close parenthesis is equal to B0 plus B1, x1 plus B2 and x2. And the next one, which is the probabilities. P open parenthesis x1 and x2 close parenthesis is equal to 1 dash open parenthesis 1 plus exp open parenthesis negative f open parenthesis x1 and x2 and close parenthesis. The dash dotted black line then linearly separates the two classes. This line corresponds to P open parenthesis x1 and x2 close parenthesis is equal to 0.5. And the next one, which is the F open parenthesis x1 and x2 and close parenthesis is equivalent to 0. That's all. Thank you.